Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 21st edition of the Concord Athletics Senior Spotlight for the fall 2020 semester. My name is Wes McKinney. It has been a little while since we jumped into the spotlight, but today we resume as women's soccer forward Alexis Grimmett stops by. Alexis, so great you could spend some time with us.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to it here as we wind down the semester. We're in finals week here at Concord. Everyone is at home, but Alexis, I wanted to start with your recruitment to Concord out of Woodbridge, Virginia, Northern Virginia area of the state. So if you could talk about your recruitment to Concord, talking with Coach Duffy there as a high school senior.
As a high school senior, and I played travel soccer as well. I attended many tournaments, and I think along the way, Luke Duffy might have just happened upon me. I believe through a website or just some email, and I remember just talking to him over the phone, and he was just sounded like a great coach who wanted to change the legacy of Concord women's soccer, and it made me want to be a part of it as well.
Yeah, that actually leads me right into my next question. It's kind of a two-part question. First off, how did Coach Duffy, I guess, sell the idea of Concord women's soccer? And then the second part of that question is you're part of a large freshman class, 15, 16, 17 players in that freshman class. So how's you able to, first off, buy the idea that Coach Duffy was selling, and what was it like to be a part of that class?
Well, I think he just sold it in a way of being really real. I felt like he was the most authentic, just talking about how he was new to it as well, and that, we were going to kind of figure it out together. And on my visit, he was just very welcoming and just felt very, it just felt like home already. I was very comfortable. I loved the thought of it being a small school, and I felt like he really sold it not only on the soccer side, but also on what Concord as a education would do for me, and just the benefits of that as well. And just he just kept it honestly very real. Just how many people were coming in. He would let me know it was a big class, and it was a big class for a reason. He wanted to change what Concord was into what he saw it could be, and he did that very well, obviously.
Yeah, and we'll actually jump into that here in just a moment. Your class really changing the fortunes of Concord soccer. But Alexis, talk to me about your freshman year. I think for any athlete in any sport, it's obviously an adjustment period, whether it be just from a social standpoint or the talent on the field, whatever it might be. There's always the kind of a phase in period during your freshman year. So what were the adjustments like for you as a college freshman trying to get used to the game?
Oh my gosh, as a college freshman, you think you're fit until you come to Concord women's soccer team freshman year. And Luke Duffy has you running up the hill, running the 2 mile every other day. But honestly, I can say that freshman year when he was the most hard on us, just because he saw what we could be, and I mean, we delivered, but I will say that was probably the hardest year, physically and just, mentally, going into somewhere brand new, being pretty far from home. I mean, half the girls are from different countries. So it was a big adjustment, but I think because we were all kind of so far away from home that it brought us closer together, going home for breaks and stuff. We always kind of stuck together or would go home with each other who were closer. It really became like just such a family dynamic really quick compared to I think of other places.
Yeah, I'm sure that obviously there's some maybe I guess animosity during that 2017 preseason as college freshmen. You guys are trying to figure out the game and you're trying to figure out why you're doing all this conditioning. But you said that you guys kind of made the fruits, or yeah, I guess the fruits of your labor pay off there. So how satisfying was that? You guys as freshmen make such a big jump in the conference all the way up to number three, make the conference semifinals there before losing Notre Dame. So how satisfying was that, I guess?
That was just extremely satisfying. I would just say, it's one thing for you to put in all the work, but once you get like an actual like taste of just how far you can go and how everything paid off, I will say like it was extremely satisfying. And we all worked for it. I think that's why we were most happy and content was because we knew we worked for it and we knew that. that was only the beginning, and it was for us.
It sounds like you guys gelled extremely quickly, especially the freshmen, but going into 2018 and then on into 2019, obviously some different pieces to the puzzle are added. Some people graduate as well too. But how was the team able to come together during that, I guess, like that 3-year stretch from 17 to 18 and then again 18 to 19? How's everyone able to kind of figure each other out there?
I feel like we figured each other out um, just in our, I would say, practices. We practiced a lot, and it wasn't even practices with Luke. We would go on runs together to the graveyard after practice, or we would do the hills in the times that we weren't training, like in the period between when our season ended and Christmas break. We would still be working. And I would say, like, a lot of other teams have come to us and just say, we always see you guys running. Like, what did Luke have you doing today? We're like, oh no, we were just running. Luke didn't actually have us. Like, I feel like we put in and we put in so much work, and that's why we receive so much. And just our chemistry on and off the field. I mean, we lunch together. In the chat, we'll say, hey, I'm headed to Mercer Mall for the day. Who wants to come? And soon enough, the car is full. Like, we just really all did everything together, and we ensured that, everyone was included. I can't say there was a single person who didn't feel like that's where they belonged, like at Concord.
I didn't have this written down, but I think this is important. You talk about the communication factor. How important is that in soccer to be able to gel? I mean, obviously you have 11 people that are scattered about throughout the field. It's obviously a huge field. So how important is the communication factor for everyone to get on the same page to build that chemistry?
The communication factor is everything. I mean, if you don't feel comfortable enough to communicate with someone, it causes a huge disconnect on the field. A huge. So, and you can feel that. You can feel that off the field, because on the field or off the field, just if you can't communicate with each other and just feel like the fluidity of it, like back and forth, like it will cause disconnects off the field and on the field. That's why I feel like it's one of the most important things, especially whenever it comes to games, just because there's so much going on. You have the other team that's communicating just as much as you are.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a just I don't know, like a understanding that we are communicating on and off the field just because it's to our benefit. And I mean, as college students, we're all figuring this out, like, together. So if we don't know where certain buildings are, rooms, like that's where each other really comes in, and we just really pick each other up, I think, and fill in the blanks where others are confused, or just take the time. Like, if someone needs some direction on the field, like, we're just there for each other, and it's really great.
Going into the 2019 season, obviously Concord had something to prove after what happened in 2018 in the penalty shootout loss against West Virginia Wesleyan. Was there a moment, Alexis? It could be preseason, it could be in the season, it could be a practice, it could be a game, it could be something off the field. I don't know, but was there a moment when everyone realized that something special could be accomplished by the 2019 Concord women's soccer team winning an MEC championship and making the first NCAA tournament in program history?
Oh my gosh, a single moment. I feel like it was, I don't know. I feel like it was almost just like a ladder where we just kept building on it. Like,
Okay.
in whether it was like just the way we bonded outside, like whether it was bonfires at Luke's house, or just a single moment. That's super hard to pinpoint, just because I felt like it was just a long time coming. Everything, all of our intentions and hard work just like bent up just to really throw it all in for 2019 season, because we wanted this before we were seniors, just so we could do it again. Of course, pandemic kind of interrupted that one, but I think it honestly was just the drive from us that built up from what we saw our freshman year. I think freshman year, probably ending as the third seed, is what triggered it all.
Okay, yeah, I kind of put you on the spot there. I apologize.
No, it's
For
okay.
that. But a couple last things here for you, Alexis, as we wrap up here. Talk to me about you mentioned all the way back at the beginning about how Luke sold the idea of that Concord education. You're going to graduate in 3.5 years. I know you're involved with different stuff on campus, so if you could just kind of sum all that up, and I'm sure that this Concord experience is probably everything you wanted it to be, and then a lot more, right?
Yeah, it definitely was, because I mean, I I wasn't going to actually play soccer in college until my conversations with Luke, and I realized that this is something I don't want to end now. And that's whenever I decided to go to Concord, especially after going there and just seeing just all these plans he had, and he's just like showed the locker room. He said, "I'm redoing this all, and this is how I'm going to do it," because it's just whenever he talked about the vision that he had, we saw it too.
Mm-hmm.
And um, soon enough, I was like, I'm going to make the most of this experience, just as anyone should in college. And I ended up with 2 jobs at the end of the year that I both loved, and in the CACD and working in Grip. And it just, I loved how I just was busy all the time, but not busy enough, like not too busy towards where I didn't have a social life or anything. Like it was just the perfect experience, I could say. And how my teachers, I would pass them and they would ask me how certain things in my life are going on. Just the connection that I had with just about every single person on campus. It was just amazing, I will say.
All right, very last thing here. Let's go back to the field just for a moment. Championship Sunday, 2019 Concord women's soccer. If you could maybe describe that day in one word, the build up in one word, what would it be, and why?
I would just say surreal. It
Sure.
we started from the bottom, and I screamed so much that day I lost my voice. I couldn't even scream anymore after the game. It was so amazing. And our starting 11 is just such a powerhouse that it was just nothing but joy and happiness and a smile that I couldn't even wipe off my face. Just being a part of that and being surrounded by so much happiness, and just like the sighs of relief that we did this. It was like no other feeling.
Well, Alexis, we certainly appreciate the time here today. And like I said, you're going to graduate here at week's end, obviously virtually, but you're going to graduate at week's end, 3.5 years at Concord. We wish you all the best in your future. And once again, we thank you for spending some time with us today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, Wes.